Welcome to Dreamland Sleep Stories. Tonight, take a deep breath, relax, and listen to our story. Subscribe to our channel and let you fall asleep with peaceful images and soothing sounds. At the edge of this world, there is a forest shrouded in mist. Legend has it that mysterious creatures dwell there, neither belonging to the human realm nor the heavens above. When moonlight cascades like water, a low, haunting flute sound echoes through the woods, as if telling an ancient and forbidden love story. Dear reader, when you lie in bed, feeling tired yet unable to sleep, why not follow my words and step into this fantastical and melancholic world? Here, you will meet a handsome and brave hunter and a beautiful and mysterious snake woman. Their encounter is destined to break the invisible line separating humans from nature and challenge the taboos of the world and the gods. Close your eyes, relax your body, and let's listen to the story of love, sacrifice, and redemption together. Perhaps at the end of the story, you will find yourself fast asleep, still relishing the tragically beautiful interracial romance in your dreams. In the heart of an ancient woodland, where mist clung to gnarled branches and moonlight dappled the forest floor, there existed a realm untouched by the march of time. This was a place where legends were born, where the veil between the mundane and the mystical grew thin, and where fate wove its intricate tapestry with threads of destiny. On this particular night, when the full moon hung like a luminous pearl in the inky sky, the forest seemed to hold its breath in anticipation. The usual nocturnal symphony of rustling leaves and chirping crickets was muted, as if nature itself sensed the impending collision of two worlds. Into this enchanted realm stepped Lin Yan, a young hunter whose reputation for skill and bravery had spread throughout the nearby villages. With a quiver of arrows slung across his back and a bow gripped firmly in his calloused hands, he moved through the undergrowth with the silent grace of a predator. His keen eyes, dark as the night itself, scanned the shadows for any sign of movement. Lin Yan had not intended to venture so deep into the forest. The locals spoke in hushed whispers of this place, warning of spirits and creatures that defied mortal understanding. But the lure of a rare herb, said to cure even the most stubborn of ailments, had drawn him further and further from the familiar paths. As he pushed aside a curtain of hanging vines, Lin Yan found himself in a moonlit clearing. At its center stood an ancient willow tree, its sweeping branches creating a natural sanctuary. The hunter's breath caught in his throat as he beheld the scene before him, for there, bathed in an otherworldly glow, was a sight that would forever change the course of his life. Coiled gracefully at the base of the willow was a creature of impossible beauty. At first glance, she appeared to be a woman of ethereal loveliness, with skin as pale as moonlight and hair that cascaded like liquid obsidian down her back. But as Lin Yan's gaze traveled lower, he saw that where legs should have been, there was instead the powerful, sinuous body of a serpent, scales shimmering with an iridescent sheen. This was Yan Ran, a Naga being of ancient magic and wisdom, half woman and half snake. For centuries, she had been the guardian of this sacred grove, protecting the delicate balance between the mortal world and the realm of spirits. Yan Ran's existence was a solitary one, bound by duty and the limitations of her dual nature. As if sensing his presence, Yan Ran's eyes fluttered open, revealing irises of liquid gold flecked with emerald. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, Hunter and Naga regarded each other in stunned silence. The air between them crackled with an energy that neither could explain, a connection that transcended the barriers of species and worlds. Lin Yan found himself unable to move, captivated by the creature before him. In all his years of hunting, in all the stories he had heard around village fires, he had never encountered or imagined a being of such mesmerizing beauty. His heart thundered in his chest, a mix of fear, awe, and something deeper, more primal, that he couldn't yet name. Yan Ran, too, was struck by the mortal who had dared to enter her domain. In his eyes, she saw not the fear or revulsion she had come to expect from humans, but a spark of wonder and admiration. For the first time in her long existence, she felt a stirring in her heart, a longing for connection that both thrilled and terrified her. The moment was shattered by the distant hoot of an owl. Lin Yan, suddenly aware of the danger he was in, took a hesitant step backward. Yan Ran, her serpentine instincts taking over, coiled herself more tightly, ready to strike if threatened. Yet neither could bring themselves to flee or fight. Instead, Lin Yan slowly lowered his bow, a gesture of peace and trust. Yan Ran, in turn, relaxed her posture, her golden eyes softening as she regarded the brave hunter. In that silent exchange, a bond was formed, fragile as a spider's web, yet strong as steel. As the night deepened around them, Lin Yan and Yan Ran remained in the clearing. Neither speaking, both acutely aware of the impossibility of their situation. They were separated by more than just the physical distance between them. They were divided by the very nature of their beings, by the laws that governed their respective worlds. Yet in their hearts, a seed had been planted, a seed of forbidden love that would grow to challenge the very foundations of their existence. Lin Yan knew that he should leave, return to his village, and forget this encounter as nothing more than a strange dream. Yan Ran understood that she should drive this mortal away, protect him from the dangers of her world and herself from the pain of impossible desires. But neither could bring themselves to end this moment. As the moon began its descent, casting long shadows across the clearing, Lin Yan and Yan Ran remained, locked in a silent communion that spoke louder than words ever could. Finally, as the first hints of dawn began to lighten the eastern sky, Lin Yan knew he must depart. With a last, lingering look at the beautiful Naga, he turned and made his way back through the forest. His mind was a whirl with conflicting emotions, wonder at what he had witnessed, fear of the unknown, and an overwhelming desire to return. Yan Ran watched him go, her serpentine body coiled around the roots of the ancient willow. For the first time in centuries, she felt the ache of loneliness, the stirring of emotions she had thought long buried. As the sun's first rays touched the treetops, she slipped back into the shadows of her grove, but her thoughts remained with the mortal hunter who had dared to look upon her with kindness. Little did they know that this chance encounter would set in motion a chain of events that would challenge the very fabric of their worlds. The forest, ever watchful, seemed to sigh with the weight of destiny, for it knew that the tale of Lin Yan and Yan Ran was only just beginning a tale of forbidden love, of sacrifice, and of the power of the heart to transcend the boundaries of nature itself. As the new day dawned, both hunter and Naga found themselves forever changed, their hearts beating with the rhythm of a love that defied explanation, a love that would lead them down a path fraught with danger, wonder, and the promise of either great joy or devastating heartbreak. In the days that followed their fateful encounter, the forest seemed to pulse with an energy previously unknown. The very air vibrated with the tension of secrets untold, of boundaries tested, and of hearts yearning across the divide of two worlds. Lin Yan found himself drawn back to the enchanted glade with an inexorable force. His feet, once sure on the paths of the mortal world, now stumbled with anticipation as they carried him deeper into the realm of myth and magic. Each journey was a risk, a defiance of the warnings whispered by village elders, yet he could no more resist the pull than the moon could refuse to rise. Yan Ran, guardian of the sacred grove, felt the approach of the mortal hunter like ripples across still water. Her serpentine form coiled with a mix of anticipation and trepidation, her human heart fluttering with emotions long dormant. She knew the danger of these clandestine meetings, understood the delicate balance she risked upsetting, yet she found herself powerless against the tide of her own longing. Their encounters were brief at first, fraught with the tension of the forbidden. Lin Yan would emerge from the shadows, his dark eyes seeking her golden gaze, and Yan Ran would uncoil from her resting place, her iridescent scales catching the moonlight. No words were exchanged, for none were needed. The language of their hearts spoke volumes in the silence of the glade. As the moon waxed and waned, their meetings grew longer, bolder. Lin Yan began to bring small offerings, rare flowers from distant meadows, shimmering stones from mountain streams. Yan Ran, in turn, revealed to him the secrets of her forest realm, showing him hidden glens where fairy rings bloomed, and streams where water spirits danced in the twilight. With each encounter, the barrier between their worlds seemed to thin. Lin Yan found himself dreaming of scales and starlight, his hands aching to touch what he knew he should not. Yan Ran's nights were filled with visions of warm skin and gentle eyes, her serpentine nature warring with the very human desire for connection. Yet even as their hearts drew closer, the reality of their situation loomed like a storm on the horizon. Lin Yan's absences from the village did not go unnoticed. Whispers began to circulate of the young hunter's strange behavior, of his distracted gaze and secretive smiles. The elders watched him with growing concern, sensing a shift in the natural order they could not explain. In the forest, too, there was unrest. The spirits and creatures that called the enchanted realm home sensed the change in their guardian. They whispered among themselves of the Naga's distraction, of the mortal scent that clung to the sacred grove. Some worried for Yanran's safety, others for the sanctity of their hidden world. Despite the mounting pressures from both sides, Lin Yan and Yan Ran found themselves unable to stay apart. Their meetings became a dance of shadows and moonlight, stolen moments of joy in a world that seemed determined to keep them apart. They shared stories of their lives, bridging the gap between mortal and mythical with each word spoken. each glance exchanged. Lin Yan spoke of his life in the village, of the expectations placed upon him as a skilled hunter, of the loneliness he had never been able to shake. Yanran, in turn, revealed the weight of her centuries-long vigil, the solitude of being neither fully human nor fully serpent, caught between two worlds but belonging to neither. As autumn painted the forest in hues of gold and crimson, their love blossomed like a rare and delicate flower. They knew the fragility of what they shared, understood the impossibility of their union, yet they clung to each moment as if it were their last. In each other's presence, they found a completeness they had never known, a sense of belonging that defied the laws of nature and man. But with the deepening of their bond came an escalation of the dangers they faced. Lin Yan's skills as a hunter began to falter, his mind forever in the forest, even when his body was in the village. The other hunters noticed his distraction, the way his arrows missed their mark, the absent look in his eyes as he stared into the depths of the woods. Yanran, too, found her duties as guardian becoming increasingly difficult. Her heart, once steadfast in its commitment to the balance of the forest, now wavered. She found herself longing for a life beyond the confines of her grove, dreaming of a future that could never be. As winter's chill began to creep through the forest, freezing streams and coating branches with delicate frost, Lin Yan and Yanran's love burned ever brighter. They met in secret glades, huddled together against the cold, their impossible love a flame that seemed to ward off the encroaching darkness. Yet even as they reveled in their connection, both were acutely aware of the price they might have to pay. Lin Yan knew that discovery could mean exile from his village, separation from all he had ever known. Yanran understood that her actions risked not only her own position, but the very balance of the mystical realm she was sworn to protect. Still, they persisted, drawn together by a force stronger than duty, stronger than fear. In stolen kisses and tender embraces, they found a truth that transcended the boundaries of their separate worlds. Their love, impossible as it seemed, had become the very air they breathed, the blood in their veins, the dream that sustained them through long nights of separation. As the year turned and the forest settled into the deep sleep of winter, Lin Yan and Yanran's forbidden love continued to grow, a secret garden flourishing against all odds. They knew not what the future held, could not foresee the trials that awaited them, but in those precious moments together, none of it seemed to matter. For in each other's arms, mortal hunter and mythical Naga had found a home, a belonging that defied explanation. And though the world around them might not understand, might even seek to tear them apart, they held fast to the love that had blossomed in the heart of the enchanted forest. A love that whispered of possibilities beyond imagining, of a future where the boundaries between worlds might blur and fade in the face of a love both forbidden and unstoppable. As winter's icy grip began to loosen and the first tentative signs of spring emerged in the forest, the idyllic world that Lin Yan and Yanran had created for themselves began to crumble at its edges. The pressure from their respective societies, once a distant concern, now pressed upon them with the inexorable force of an avalanche. In the village, the whispers about Lin Yan's strange behavior had grown into a cacophony of speculation and concern. His fellow hunters, once admiring of his skills, now watched him with wary eyes. They noted his frequent absences, the dreamlike state that seemed to possess him even when he was physically present, and the way his gaze constantly drifted towards the depths of the forest. The village elders, guardians of tradition and keepers of ancient wisdom, convened in hushed meetings. They spoke in grave tones of the dangers that lurked in the enchanted woods, of spirits that could beguile even the strongest of men. Some suggested that Lin Yan had fallen under a spell, while others feared he had stumbled upon some dark secret that now threatened them all. Lin Yan's family, torn between love for their son and fear of the unknown, attempted to intervene. His father, a respected hunter in his own right, tried to engage him in the rituals and practices that had defined their lineage for generations. His mother, worry etched deep in the lines of her face, prepared strengthening tonics and protective charms, desperately hoping to break whatever hold the forest seemed to have on her son. But Lin Yan, though he felt the weight of their concern and disapproval, found himself unable to turn away from the path his heart had chosen. Each attempt to draw him back into the fold of village life only served to highlight the emptiness he felt when apart from Yan Ran. The hunt, once his passion, now seemed a pale shadow compared to the vibrancy of his forbidden love. In the mystical realm of the forest, Yan Ran faced pressures of her own. The spirits and creatures under her protection grew restless, sensing the change in their guardian. Ancient trees whispered their disapproval, their roots twisting with unease. Water nymphs, once playful and carefree in her presence, now regarded her with eyes full of questions and reproach. The balance of the enchanted woods, maintained for centuries by Yan Ran's unwavering vigilance, began to shift. Magical boundaries flickered and wavered, allowing glimpses of the mystical realm to bleed into the mortal world. Strange lights were seen dancing at the forest's edge. Eerie melodies carried on the wind to the villagers' ears, fueling their fears and suspicions. Other Nagas, distant kin to Yan Ran, slithered from the deepest, most secret parts of the forest to confront her. They spoke of duty and tradition, of the sacred trust placed in their kind to maintain the separation between the mortal and mystical realms. Their golden eyes, so like Yan Ran's own, held no warmth as they reminded her of the consequences should she continue down this dangerous path. Yan Ran, torn between her centuries-old responsibilities and the newfound joy she had discovered with Lin Yan, found herself in an impossible position. The very foundation of her existence, her role as guardian and protector, seemed to crumble beneath the weight of her love for a mortal man. As the pressure mounted from both sides, Lin Yan and Yan Ran's meetings became fraught with tension. The carefree joy of their early encounters was replaced by a desperate urgency, each moment together shadowed by the knowledge of the forces aligning against them. They met in secret glades, hidden even from the prying eyes of the forest itself. Lin Yan would arrive breathless, having evaded the watchful gazes of his fellow villagers. Yan Ran would emerge from the shadows, her serpentine form tense, with the effort of concealing her movements from the creatures under her protection. In these stolen moments, they clung to each other with the desperation of those who know their time may be limited. They spoke in hushed whispers of their struggles, of the increasing difficulty in maintaining the facade of normalcy in their separate worlds. Lin Yan confessed his fears of being outcast from his village, of losing the only life he had ever known. The disapproval in his father's eyes, the worry in his mother's touch, the suspicion of his fellow hunters, all weighed heavily upon him. Yet even as he spoke of these burdens, he reaffirmed his love for Yanran, swearing that no price was too high to pay for the connection they shared. Yanran, in turn, revealed the fractures appearing in the mystical realm. She spoke of the whispers of rebellion among the forest spirits, of the disapproval radiating from the ancient guardians of the woods. The mantle of responsibility she had worn for centuries now felt like a crushing weight, threatening to suffocate the love that had given her new life. As spring blossomed around them, painting the forest in vibrant hues of renewal, Lin Yan and Yan Ran found their love tested as never before. The beauty of their surroundings seemed a cruel mockery of the turmoil they faced, the new life bursting forth from every branch, a stark contrast to the forces seeking to end their union. Yet even in the face of mounting opposition, their love remained unshakable. Each challenge, each new pressure from their societies seemed only to strengthen their resolve. In quiet moments, when the weight of the world threatened to overwhelm them, they would lose themselves in each other's eyes, finding there the strength to face whatever trials lay ahead. As the chapter of societal pressure unfolded, Lin Yan and Yan Ran stood at a crossroads. The path forward was shrouded in uncertainty, fraught with danger and the potential for heartbreak. The forces of tradition, duty, and societal expectation pressed in from all sides, threatening to tear apart the delicate tapestry of their love. Yet in the hearts of the mortal hunter and the mystical Naga, a fire burned, a flame of defiance against the narrow confines of their worlds, a beacon of hope for a future where love could transcend the boundaries of nature and society. As spring marched inevitably towards summer, Lin Yan and Yan Ran prepared to face the storms that gathered on the horizon, their hands clasped tightly, their hearts beating as one in the face of a world determined to pull them apart. As the forest burst into the full bloom of summer, the air heavy with the scent of flowers and the buzzing of insects, Lin Yan and Yan Ran found themselves standing on the precipice of a monumental decision. The pressure from their respective worlds had reached a fever pitch, and they knew that the time had come to make a choice that would alter the course of their lives forever. For Yan Ran, this choice was particularly poignant. As a Naga, she was approaching a crucial point in her long existence, the time of the Great Shedding. This rare event, occurring only once in a Naga's lifetime, offered a brief window of opportunity for transformation. Legend spoke of Nagas who, during this time, could choose to shed not just their skin, but their very nature, emerging as fully human or fully serpent. The forest seemed to hold its breath as Yan Ran contemplated this life-altering decision. The ancient trees creaked with anticipation, their leaves whispering of choices made and paths not taken. The spirits of the wood gathered in hidden glades, their ethereal forms shimmering with anxiety as they sensed the impending shift in the balance of their realm. Yanran spent long hours coiled at the base of the great willow tree, her golden eyes closed in deep meditation. The weight of centuries pressed upon her as she weighed her options. To become fully human would mean the chance to be with Lin Yan, to experience life as he did, to grow old by his side. But it would also mean abandoning her duty as guardian of the forest, leaving the mystical realm vulnerable in her absence. To choose the path of the serpent would mean embracing fully the ancient magic that flowed through her veins. It would grant her unimaginable power and a lifespan that stretched into eternity. But it would also mean losing the part of herself that had fallen in love with Lin Yan, the part that yearned for human connection and understanding. As Yanran grappled with her decision, Lin Yan faced his own crisis in the village. The elders, no longer content to merely whisper their concerns, had called a council. They spoke of the strange occurrences in the forest, of the shift in the natural order that they all could sense. Fingers pointed to Lin Yan, accusations flying that his frequent forays into the enchanted woods had somehow upset the delicate balance between the mortal and mystical realms. Lin Yan stood before the council, his heart pounding with the weight of secrets untold. He listened as they laid out their ultimatum: forsake the forest and whatever spell it had cast upon him, or be cast out from the village forever. The faces of his family, etched with worry and fear, bore into him as he contemplated his response. In that moment, Lin Yan realized that his choice mirrored Yanran's in its gravity. To stay in the village would mean security, familiarity, and the love of his family and community. But it would also mean turning his back on the deepest love he had ever known, on the part of himself that had awakened in Yanran's presence. To choose Yanran and the forest would mean stepping into a world of uncertainty, leaving behind everything he had ever known. It would mean facing the unknown, possibly even death, for the chance to be with the one who had captured his heart. As the summer days stretched long and languid, Lin Yan and Yanran met in their secret glade, the weight of their impending decisions hanging heavy in the air between them. They spoke in low voices of the choices they faced, of the consequences that loomed on the horizon. Yanran revealed to Lin Yan the nature of the great shedding, explaining the transformation that lay within her grasp. Lin Yan listened with wonder and fear, understanding for the first time the true depth of the sacrifice Yanran might make for their love. In turn, Lin Yan shared the ultimatum given by his village, the choice between two worlds that he now faced. Yanran's golden eyes shimmered with unshed tears as she grasped the magnitude of what Lin Yan might give up for her. As they talked through the night, the forest around them seemed to pulse with anticipation. Fireflies danced in the air, their soft light a counterpoint to the stars that peeked through the canopy above. The very ground beneath them thrummed with ancient magic, as if the earth itself was holding its breath, waiting to see what choice these star-crossed lovers would make. In the soft light of dawn, as the first rays of sun filtered through the leaves, Lin Yan and Yanran made their decisions. Their eyes met, a lifetime of understanding passing between them in a single glance. Without words, they knew that whatever choice they made, they would face the consequences together. Yan ran, her scales shimmering in the early morning light, began the ancient ritual of the great shedding. Her form blurred and shifted, the boundary between woman and serpent becoming fluid as she surrendered herself to the transformative magic. Lin Yan stood witness to this miraculous metamorphosis, his heart pounding with a mixture of awe and fear. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, he turned his back on the path that would lead him back to the village, choosing instead to step fully into the mystical world of the forest. The consequences of their choices rippled out like waves on a pond. In the village, Lin Yan's absence was noted with sorrow and anger, his family left to wonder at the fate of their son who had been lost to the enchanted woods. In the forest, the balance of power shifted, the old order giving way to something new and unknown, as Yan Ran's transformation rewrote the very laws of nature. As this chapter of their lives drew to a close, Lin Yan and Yan Ran stood on the threshold of a new beginning. The path ahead was shrouded in mist, full of unknown dangers and untold possibilities. But they faced it together, their hands clasped tightly, their hearts beating as one. The forest, ever watchful, seemed to sigh with a mixture of relief and trepidation. For in the choice of these two lovers, a new story was beginning to unfold, a tale that would reshape the boundaries between the mortal and mystical worlds, a legend that would be whispered in the rustling of leaves and the babbling of brooks for centuries to come. The forest, once a sanctuary of secret love, now became a realm of shadows and whispers. The choices made by Lin Yan and Yan Ran had set in motion a chain of events that would test the very foundations of their world and the strength of their bond. As news of Lin Yan's disappearance spread through the village, a pall of fear and suspicion fell over the community. Families huddled close, doors were barred at night, and none dared venture near the forest's edge. But among the fear, there also burned a flame of anger and betrayal. Lin Yan's childhood friend, a hunter named Wei, took the disappearance particularly hard. Where others saw mystery, Wei saw abandonment. Where the elders preached caution, Wei's heart cried out for action. In the dark of night, fueled by a potent mixture of concern and jealousy, Wei made a fateful decision. Armed with bow and blade, Wei slipped into the forest, determined to uncover the truth behind Lin Yan's vanishing and bring him home. Little did Wei know that this quest would unleash a maelstrom of consequences that would forever alter the balance between the mortal and mystical realms. Deep in the heart of the enchanted woods, Lin Yan and Yan Ran were grappling with the aftermath of their choices. Yan Ran's transformation, while not complete, had left her in a state of flux. Neither fully human nor entirely serpent, she struggled to maintain her connection to the forest's magic while embracing her newfound humanity. Lin Yan, for his part, found himself caught between two worlds. The mystical realm, once a place of wonder and discovery, now seemed alien and fraught with danger. Every shadow held a potential threat, every whisper in the leaves a possible warning. Yet he clung to his love for Yan Ran, determined to build a life in this new world he had chosen. As Wei delved deeper into the forest, the natural barriers that had long kept the mystical realm hidden began to falter. The veil between worlds, already weakened by Yanran's transformation, now tore in places, allowing glimpses of ancient magic to spill into the mortal world. It was in one such moment of clarity that Wei stumbled upon Lin Yan and Yanran's sanctuary. Hidden behind a waterfall of liquid starlight, Wei watched in horror and fascination as Lin Yan tenderly embraced the half-transformed Yanran. In that instant, Wei understood the truth and felt the full weight of Lin Yan's perceived betrayal. Blind with rage and a sense of righteous fury, Wei burst from hiding. Accusations flew like arrows, each word a barb that struck deep into Lin Yan's heart. Yanran, still weakened from her ongoing transformation, could only watch in despair as the confrontation unfolded. The commotion drew the attention of the forest spirits, long wary of the intrusion of mortals into their realm. They descended upon the glade in a whirlwind of leaves and shadow, their ancient eyes gleaming with judgment and retribution. In the chaos that followed, misunderstandings compounded upon each other. Wei, seeing the spirits as monsters, loosed arrows in defense. Lin Yan, caught between his old life and new, hesitated at the crucial moment. And Yanran, her powers fluctuating wildly, inadvertently unleashed a wave of primal magic that shook the very foundations of the forest. When the dust settled, the damage was done. Wei lay unconscious, felled by the magic he didn't understand. The spirits, enraged by the attack and the breach of their realm, demanded punishment. And at the center of it all stood Lin Yan and Yanran, their love now exposed and deemed the root of all the turmoil. The eldest of the forest spirits, a being as ancient as the earth itself, stepped forward to pass judgment. Its voice, like the creaking of ancient boughs, pronounced the sentence. Lin Yan would be bound to the forest, unable to leave its confines, destined to wander its paths for eternity. Yanran, for her part in unbalancing the natural order, would be stripped of her transformative powers, locked forever in her half-human, half-serpent form. As the punishment was laid upon them, Lin Yan and Yanran clung to each other, their hearts breaking even as they reaffirmed their love. They had known their choice would come with a price, but the reality of it was more bitter than they could have imagined. Wei, upon awakening, was escorted to the edge of the forest by solemn-faced spirits. The last glimpse he caught of Lin Yan, bound by ethereal chains to the trees he had once walked among freely, would haunt him for the rest of his days. As Wei stumbled back into the village, babbling of monsters and magic, of betrayals and transformations, a seed of fear took root in the hearts of the villagers. The forest, once merely a place of caution, now became a source of active dread. Talk began of cutting it down, of burning away the threat that lurked within its shadows. Back in the depths of the woods, Lin Yan and Yanran faced their new reality. Bound to the forest and to their transformed states, they found themselves exiles in the very realm they had chosen. The spirits, once Yanran's subjects, now regarded them with a mixture of pity and suspicion. Yet even in the face of this punishment, their love remained unshaken. As night fell and the forest settled into an uneasy silence, Lin Yan and Yan Ran held each other close. They whispered promises of endurance, of finding a way through this trial, of a love that would outlast even the ancient trees around them. The forest, ever watchful, seemed to sigh with a mixture of sorrow and resignation. For in the punishment of these star-crossed lovers, a new chapter in the ancient conflict between the mortal and mystical realms had begun. The consequences of their choices would ripple out through time, shaping the destiny of both worlds in ways yet unimagined. As the moon rose high over the canopy, casting long shadows through the trees, Lin Yan and Yan Ran stood together at the heart of their new prison and their eternal home. The path ahead was dark and uncertain, fraught with challenges they had yet to face. But they faced it as one, their love a beacon of hope in a world that sought to tear them apart. The forest, once a realm of wonder and sanctuary, had become a prison for Lin Yan and Yan Ran. The ethereal chains that bound them to this mystical domain were invisible to the eye, but their weight pressed heavily upon the lovers' hearts. Yet, even in the face of their punishment, their spirits remained unbroken, their love a defiant flame against the encroaching darkness. As days turned to weeks, Lin Yan and Yan Ran began to adapt to their new existence. They learned the secret pathways of the forest, the hidden glens where ancient magic still pooled like liquid moonlight, the whispering groves where the veil between worlds grew thin. Together, they sought a way to break the curse that held them captive, to reclaim the freedom they had so willingly sacrificed for love. Meanwhile, beyond the forest's edge, turmoil brewed in the village. Wei's tale of monsters and magic had spread like wildfire, igniting a blaze of fear and hatred. The elders, once cautious in their approach to the mysterious woods, now called for drastic action. Axes were sharpened, torches prepared, as the villagers steeled themselves to confront the perceived threat that lurked among the ancient trees. It was on a night when the moon hung low and red in the sky that the balance finally tipped. A child from the village, drawn by curiosity and the whispered stories of enchantment, wandered into the forest's embrace. As dawn broke and the child's absence was discovered, a cry of anguish and rage rose from the village. Without further hesitation, a mob formed, armed and angry, ready to tear the forest apart, to reclaim one of their own. Deep within the woods, Lin Yan and Yan Ran sensed the approaching storm. The trees themselves seemed to tremble with foreboding, their leaves whispering warnings on the wind. The lovers knew that the fragile peace between the mortal and mystical realms was about to shatter, and they would be caught in the crossfire. With heavy hearts, they made a decision. Though the magical bond still held them to the forest, they could not stand idly by as two worlds collided in violence and misunderstanding. They would find the lost child, return them safely, and perhaps, in doing so, bridge the chasm that had grown between their former and current lives. Their quest led them through the darkest parts of the forest, where reality itself seemed to warp and shift. They faced trials that tested not only their resolve, but the very nature of their transformed selves. Lin Yan, once a skilled hunter, now had to rely on instincts he didn't fully understand, his senses heightened by the forest's magic. Yanran, her form still caught between woman and serpent, struggled to harness her fluctuating powers. Each success and failure a reminder of the price they had paid for their love. As they ventured deeper into the heart of the forest, they encountered beings of myth and legend. Ancient spirits, older than the trees themselves, watched their progress with inscrutable eyes. Creatures of light and shadow flitted at the edges of their vision, some offering cryptic guidance, others laying treacherous obstacles in their path. Through it all, Lin Yan and Yan Ran clung to each other, their love a beacon in the darkness, a shield against the trials they faced. Each challenge overcome, each barrier surmounted, only served to strengthen the bond between them. In the face of adversity, their love deepened, tempered like steel in the forge of their shared ordeal. Finally, in a glade bathed in ethereal light, they found the lost child. The young one, far from frightened, was surrounded by gentle forest spirits, wide-eyed with wonder at the magical realm they had stumbled into. The innocence of the child's acceptance of the mystical world stood in stark contrast to the fear and anger that drove the approaching villagers. But even as Lin Yan and Yan Ran prepared to return the child to the mortal world, they realized their trial was far from over. The magical bonds that held them to the forest pulled taut as they neared its borders, a painful reminder of their punishment. To step beyond the forest's edge would mean unimaginable agony, perhaps even death. Yet, the sound of angry voices and the glow of torches drawing ever closer left them with little choice. With determination burning in their eyes, Lin Yan and Yan Ran made their decision. They would break the bonds that held them, willingly facing whatever consequences might come, to prevent the destruction of the realm that had become their home. Hand in hand, with the child safely between them, they approached the forest's edge. Each step was an act of defiance against the magical decree that bound them, each movement a testament to the power of their love and their willingness to sacrifice for the greater good. As they reached the border where mystical and mortal realms met, pain lanced through their bodies. The forest itself seemed to cry out, ancient magics warping and twisting as the lovers pushed against the boundaries of their curse. Lin Yan gritted his teeth against the agony, his mortal form shimmering as the forest fought to reclaim him. Yan Ran's serpentine lower half writhed and thrashed, scales flashing in the torchlight as she battled against the force that sought to hold her back. With a final, tremendous effort, they stepped beyond the forest's edge, the magical bonds shattering in a burst of light and sound that momentarily illuminated the night sky. They stood, gasping and weakened, but free, at the very edge of the world they had left behind. Before them, the startled faces of the villagers came into focus, torches and weapons lowering in shock at the sight of the transformed Lin Yan and the half-serpent Yan Ran. And there, in the forefront of the crowd, stood Wei, his eyes wide with a mixture of relief, fear, and dawning understanding. As the child ran to the welcoming arms of their parents, Lin Yan and Yan Ran faced the village that had once been home to one of them. The moment hung in perfect balance. a precipice between conflict and reconciliation, between fear and understanding. In that fragile moment, as two worlds collided under the watchful gaze of the ancient forest, the next chapter of their journey was about to unfold. The path of fugitives had led them here, to a crossroads of fate, where the future of both realms would be decided by the choices made in the coming moments. The forest, ever watchful, held its breath, waiting to see if love truly could bridge the divide between mortal and mystical, if understanding could triumph over fear, and if the sacrifices made in the name of love would finally bear fruit in the dawn of a new era. In the tense silence that followed their emergence from the forest, Lin Yan and Yan Ran stood as living embodiments of the bridge between two worlds. The villagers, their anger momentarily forgotten in the face of this miraculous sight, stared in a mixture of awe and trepidation at the transformed couple. It was Wei who broke the silence, stepping forward with trembling hands outstretched. His voice, thick with emotion, carried across the clearing. "Lin Yan, is it truly you?" The simple question seemed to shatter the spell of stillness that had fallen over the gathering. Lin Yan, his form shimmering with the residual magic of the forest, met his old friend's gaze. In that moment, the weight of their shared history of betrayal and misunderstanding hung heavy between them. Yet, in Lin Yan's eyes, there was no hatred, only a profound sadness and a flicker of hope. "It is me, Wei," Lin Yan replied, his voice carrying the whisper of rustling leaves. "And yet, not the me you once knew." He gestured to Yan Ran, who stood tall and proud despite her serpentine lower half. "This is Yan Ran, my love. My reason for choosing the path I did." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Some recoiled in fear at Yan Ran's appearance, while others leaned forward, captivated by the otherworldly beauty of the half-naga. The village elders pushed their way to the front, their faces etched with lines of concern and curiosity. As dawn began to break, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, Lin Yan and Yan Ran shared their tale. They spoke of their first meeting, of the love that had blossomed against all odds, of the choices and sacrifices they had made. Their words wove a tapestry of wonder and sorrow, of a love so powerful it had defied the very laws of nature. The villagers listened, enraptured. As the story unfolded, the fear in their eyes gradually gave way to understanding, and in some cases, to tears of empathy. Even the most hardened hearts among them could not remain unmoved by the depth of Lin Yan and Yan Ran's devotion. Yet, as the tale drew to a close, a new tension filled the air. The village elders conferred in hushed whispers, their faces grave. The fate of Lin Yan and Yan Ran, and indeed the future relationship between the village and the forest, hung in the balance. It was then that an unexpected voice rang out. The child who had been lost in the forest, now safely back in the arms of their parents, spoke up with the innocent wisdom that only the young possess. "They saved me," the child said, pointing to Lin Yan and Yan Ran. "The forest was beautiful, not scary. And they brought me home even though it hurt them." This simple statement seemed to shift the very air around them. The elders' whisper ceased, and all eyes turned once more to the transformed couple. In that moment, the essence of Lin Yan and Yan Ran's love, its selflessness, its strength, its power to bridge divides, became clear to all. The eldest of the village elders stepped forward, his ancient eyes sharp, as he regarded Lin Yan and Yan Ran. "You have broken ancient taboos," he began, his voice stern. "You have blurred the lines between our world and the realm of magic and spirits." A pause, heavy with anticipation. "And yet, in doing so, you have also shown us the power of love to transcend boundaries, to heal rifts, to bring light to darkness." A ripple of agreement passed through the crowd. Where there had been fear and anger, now there was a growing sense of wonder and possibility. The villagers began to see Lin Yan and Yan Ran not as threats, but as symbols of a new understanding between the mortal and mystical realms. Wei, tears streaming down his face, stepped forward to embrace his old friend. "I'm sorry," he whispered, the words carrying the weight of all that had passed between them. "I didn't understand before, but now I see." As the sun rose fully above the horizon, bathing the scene in golden light, a decision was reached. Lin Yan and Yan Ran would not be cast out, nor would they be forced to hide away in the depths of the forest. Instead, they would become the bridge between two worlds, teachers and guides, to help the village and the forest coexist in harmony. The journey ahead would not be easy. There were still those who feared the unknown, who clung to old prejudices and suspicions. The magical realm, too, would need to adjust to this new balance, to accept the presence of mortals in their midst. But as Lin Yan and Yan Ran stood hand in hand, facing the dawn of this new era, they knew that their love had opened a door that could never truly be closed again. They had shown that love, in its purest form, could overcome any obstacle, bridge any divide, and light the way through even the darkest of forests. The villagers, moved by the power of their story and the depth of their sacrifice, began to lower their weapons. Torches were extinguished, axes set aside. In their place, hands were extended in greeting, in acceptance, in the first tentative gestures of friendship towards the mystical realm they had for so long feared. As the chapter drew to a close, the forest itself seemed to sigh with relief. The ancient trees swayed gently, their leaves whispering of new beginnings. And at the border between two worlds, Lin Yan and Yan Ran stood as living testimony to the transformative power of love, a power that could reshape reality itself, bringing light to shadow, understanding to fear, and hope to even the most impossible of circumstances. Their story, once a tale of forbidden love, had become a legend of unity and acceptance. And as they faced the future together, surrounded by the twin communities they would now guide and protect, Lin Yan and Yan Ran knew that their greatest adventure was only just beginning. As seasons changed and years passed, the harmony between the village and the forest grew stronger under the guidance of Lin Yan and Yan Ran. Their love had become a beacon of hope, a living bridge between two worlds that had once been separated by fear and misunderstanding. Yet, Beneath the surface of this newfound peace, a darkness was stirring, a threat that would test the limits of their love and the strength of the bonds they had forged. Deep within the heart of the forest, in places untouched even by the ancient spirits, an old and malevolent force began to awaken. It was a primordial entity, born from the shadows that existed before the separation of the mortal and mystical realms. As it stirred from its ageless slumber, it sensed the change that had come to its domain, the mingling of mortal and magical energies, the blurring of boundaries it had long ago established. The entity's awakening sent ripples through both realms. In the village, crops withered inexplicably, and a sense of unease settled over the people. In the forest, ancient trees groaned in distress, and magical creatures fled from their homes, driven by an instinctive fear of the growing darkness. Lin Yan and Yan Ran, attuned as they were to both worlds, felt the change keenly. They spent long nights in council with the village elders and the forest spirits, seeking to understand the nature of the threat they faced. It was during one such meeting, as the moon hung full and heavy in the sky, that the truth was revealed to them. An ancient spirit, older than the forest itself, spoke of a prophecy long forgotten by both mortals and magical beings. It told of a time when the barriers between worlds would weaken and an ancient evil would seek to devour both realms, plunging all of existence into eternal darkness. The only hope, according to the prophecy, lay in a sacrifice, a gift of pure love freely given, powerful enough to reforge the bonds between worlds and banish the darkness. As the spirit spoke, Lin Yan and Yan Ran exchanged a look of deep understanding. They knew, without words, what they must do. Their love, which had already transformed two worlds, would be the key to saving them. The next days were a flurry of preparation. The village and the forest united as never before, mortal and magical beings working side by side to prepare for the coming battle. Lin Yan and Yan Ran stood at the center of it all, their unwavering love a source of strength and hope for all around them. As the day of confrontation dawned, a terrible stillness fell over the land. The sun rose blood-red in the sky, its light weak against the encroaching shadows. Lin Yan and Yan Ran led a united front of villagers and forest spirits to the heart of the darkness, where the ancient entity awaited. The battle that ensued was unlike anything seen in either realm. Magic clashed with mortal courage, while Lin Yan and Yan Ran fought with a power born from their unbreakable bond. Yet, as the conflict raged, it became clear that conventional means would not be enough to defeat the primordial darkness. In a moment of terrible clarity, Lin Yan and Yan Ran understood what the prophecy truly meant. The sacrifice it spoke of was not just a symbolic gesture, but a literal offering of their love and their lives to save both worlds. Without hesitation, they made their choice. In the eye of the storm, as chaos raged around them, Lin Yan and Yan Ran embraced one last time. Their eyes met, conveying a lifetime of love, understanding, and acceptance in a single glance. Then, hand in hand, they stepped into the heart of the darkness. As they surrendered themselves to the void, their love blazed forth like a supernova, The light of their sacrifice pierced the darkness, shattering the ancient evil and reforging the bonds between the mortal and mystical realms. The force of their love, freely given, rewove the very fabric of reality. When the light faded and the dust settled, Lin Yan and Yan Ran were gone. In their place stood a magnificent tree, its trunk split into two intertwining halves, one smooth as human skin, the other scaled like a serpent. Its branches reached towards both the village and the forest, dropping blossoms that shimmered with a magic born of two worlds. The survivors gathered around this living monument, mortal and magical beings alike bowing their heads in grief and gratitude. They understood the magnitude of the sacrifice that had been made, the depth of the love that had saved them all. As word of Lin Yan and Yan Ran's ultimate sacrifice spread, their story became legend. The tree that grew from their love became a sacred site, a permanent reminder of the power of love to transcend boundaries, overcome darkness, and unite worlds. In the years that followed, the village and the forest flourished as never before. The harmony between the two realms, bought at such a dear price, grew stronger with each passing season. And though Lin Yan and Yan Ran were no longer present in physical form, their love continued to touch the hearts of all who heard their tale. For in the gentle rustle of the tree's leaves, in the shimmer of its magical blossoms, those with open hearts could still hear the whisper of two souls united for eternity, a testament to a love so powerful it had reshaped the world and conquered death itself. As centuries passed, the legend of Lin Yan and Yan Ran lived on, their sacrifice etched into the collective memory of both the mortal and mystical realms. The great tree that had sprung from their love continued to grow, its roots delving deep into the earth, its branches reaching ever higher into the sky. It stood as a living bridge between worlds, a constant reminder of the power of love and sacrifice. But the story of Lin Yan and Yan Ran was far from over. For in the heart of the great tree, something miraculous was occurring. A slow awakening, a gradual rebirth that would once again change the course of both worlds. It began with whispers, soft murmurs carried on the wind that seemed to echo with familiar voices. Villagers walking near the tree would pause, certain they had heard their names called by voices long silent. Forest spirits would gather in the branches, drawn by an energy they recognized but could not name. As the seasons turned, the whispers grew stronger. The tree's blossoms, which had always shimmered with an otherworldly light, began to pulse with a rhythm that matched the beating of a heart. Those who placed their hands upon the trunk could feel a warmth that seemed to radiate from within, as if the tree itself were alive in a way that went beyond mere vegetation. On the eve of the 1000th year since Lin Yan and Yan Ran's sacrifice, as both village and forest prepared to commemorate their heroes, a great storm swept across the land. Lightning split the sky, and thunder shook the earth. The great tree swayed and groaned, its branches thrashing in the wind. As dawn broke and the storm subsided, those who rushed to check on the sacred tree were met with an astonishing sight. The trunk, which had always been split into two intertwining halves, had opened like a cocoon. And there, Cradled within the heart of the tree lay two figures, a man and a woman, their forms shimmering with an ethereal light. Slowly, Lin Yan and Yan Ran opened their eyes, reborn into the world they had sacrificed everything to save. They emerged from the tree, their bodies whole and unmarked by the passage of time, yet their eyes filled with the wisdom of 1,000 years. The news of their return spread like wildfire through both realms. Mortals and magical beings alike flocked to see the legendary lovers who had defied death itself. But Lin Yan and Yan Ran, though joyful at their reunion with the worlds they had protected, sensed that their rebirth was not without purpose. As they reacquainted themselves with the changed world around them, they became aware of new tensions brewing between the mortal and mystical realms. The harmony their sacrifice had bought was beginning to fray, old fears and prejudices resurfacing after centuries of peace. Lin Yan and Yan Ran understood then the true nature of their rebirth. They had been given a second chance not just to live, but to once again guide both worlds towards understanding and unity. Their love, tempered by sacrifice and strengthened by the passage of time, would once more be the key to bridging the divide. With renewed purpose, they set out to heal the growing rifts. They walked among both mortals and magical beings, sharing their story and reminding all of the power of love to overcome any boundary. Their very existence served as a powerful symbol, living proof that even death could not stand against the force of true love. But their task was not without challenges. Some, blinded by fear or ambition, sought to use Lin Yan and Yan Ran's return for their own purposes. Others questioned the truth of their rebirth, seeing it as a trick or a threat to the established order. Yet Lin Yan and Yan Ran faced each challenge with the patience and wisdom gained from their long communion with the heart of the world. Their love, far from diminishing in the face of adversity, only grew stronger. They stood as beacons of hope and understanding, their unwavering bond a testament to the enduring power of love. As they worked to bring the two realms back into harmony, Lin Yan and Yan Ran also rediscovered the joy of their own love. Every sunset shared, every quiet moment together was a precious gift, made all the more valuable by the knowledge of what they had sacrificed and regained. Slowly but surely, their efforts began to bear fruit. The tensions between the realms eased, replaced by a renewed sense of wonder and mutual respect. Mortals and magical beings alike were reminded of the beauty that could be found in diversity, the strength that came from unity. And so, as this new chapter in their lives unfolded, Lin Yan and Yan Ran found themselves at the center of a renaissance of understanding and cooperation between the two worlds. Their rebirth had not only given them a second chance at life and love, but had also reignited the flame of hope in the hearts of all who knew their story. The great tree that had been their resting place for a millennium continued to stand, now a living monument not just to sacrifice, but to rebirth and the eternal nature of true love. Its roots grew deeper, its branches reached higher, symbolizing the ever-strengthening bonds between the mortal and mystical realms. As Lin Yan and Yan Ran looked out over the flourishing worlds they had twice saved, They knew that their journey was far from over, but whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them as they always had, together, their love a force powerful enough to reshape reality itself, a beacon of hope for all who witnessed it. As years flowed into decades, and decades into centuries, Lin Yan and Yan Ran remained a constant presence in both the mortal and mystical realms. Their rebirth had granted them a form of immortality, their bodies untouched by the ravages of time, their love as vibrant and powerful as the day they first met in that moonlit glade so long ago. They became living legends, their story passed down through generations, inspiring countless tales of love, sacrifice, and redemption. Children in the village grew up hearing of their bravery, while young spirits in the forest learned of the power of love to transcend all boundaries. Yet, as the world around them changed, Lin Yan and Yan Ran faced new challenges. The balance between the realms, though strong, required constant nurturing. They found themselves mediating disputes, guiding leaders, and teaching the importance of harmony to each new generation. Their greatest challenge, however, came not from external forces, but from within. As they watched generations of mortals live, love, and pass on, while magical beings evolved and changed, Lin, Yan, and Yan Ran grappled with the weight of their immortality. They had been given an eternal life, but with it came the burden of watching all they knew and loved change and fade around them. It was during one particularly difficult period, when the pain of loss threatened to overwhelm them, that Lin Yan and Yan Ran made a profound discovery. In the heart of the great tree from which they had been reborn, they found a shimmering portal, a gateway that seemed to lead to the very essence of existence itself. As they stood before this swirling vortex of energy, they understood that they were being offered a choice. They could step through, surrendering their physical forms to become one with the universal force that bound all things together. Or they could remain as they were, continuing their eternal vigil over the realms they had sworn to protect. Lin Yan and Yan Ran gazed into each other's eyes, a lifetime of love and shared experiences passing between them in a single glance. Without words, they reached a decision. Turning to face the assembled leaders of both realms, who had gathered to witness this momentous event, they spoke of their choice. They would remain in the physical world, continuing to guide and protect both realms, but they would also become conduits for the universal energy they had discovered, using it to strengthen the bonds between all living things. Their love, which had already transcended death once, would now become a force that permeated every aspect of existence. As they made this declaration, a change came over Lin Yan and Yan Ran. Their forms began to shimmer, becoming at once more solid and more ethereal. They were still recognizably themselves, but now they radiated an energy that spoke of the very foundations of the universe. With this transformation came new understanding and new powers. Lin Yan and Yan Ran could now perceive the intricate web of connections that bound all things together. They could sense the flow of life and magic throughout both realms, and with a thought, they could strengthen these connections, healing rifts and fostering understanding. Their love, already a legend, became something even greater, a tangible force that could be felt by all who were open to it. In moments of conflict or misunderstanding, people from both realms would feel a gentle warmth, a reminder of the love that had saved their worlds twice over. As the centuries rolled on, Lin Yan and Yan Ran became more than just guardians or teachers. They were the living embodiment of the harmony between realms, their very existence a promise that love could overcome any obstacle, bridge any divide. They walked among mortals and magical beings alike, their presence bringing comfort and inspiration. They danced in moonlit glades with forest spirits, shared meals with village elders, and whispered words of encouragement to young lovers facing seemingly insurmountable odds. And always, at the heart of everything they did, was their love for each other. A love that had defied death, transcended time, and reshaped reality itself. A love that served as a beacon of hope for all who witnessed it. As our tale draws to a close, we find Lin Yan and Yan Ran standing atop a hill overlooking both the village and the forest. The great tree that had been their resting place and rebirth stands behind them, its branches reaching towards the stars. Before them stretches a landscape where mortal and magical realms blend seamlessly, a testament to the harmony they have fostered. They turn to each other, their eyes meeting as they have countless times before. In that gaze is the weight of their long journey, the joy of their shared experiences, and the promise of an eternity yet to come. Their hands intertwine, mortal and mystical flesh becoming one. As the sun sets on this chapter of their endless story, Lin, Yan, and Yan Ran reaffirm the vow they made so long ago in a moonlit glade. It is a promise of enduring love, of unwavering commitment to each other, and to the worlds they protect. It is a promise that echoes through the very fabric of existence, a love story written in the stars themselves. And so, dear readers, we leave Lin Yan and Yan Ran to their eternal vigil, their love a guiding light for all who seek hope in darkness, unity in division, and the transformative power of a love that knows no bounds. Their story reminds us that in the face of any challenge, love will always find a way. For in the end, it is love that reshapes worlds, transcends death, and writes the most enduring legends of all. Thanks for joining us on this relaxing journey. We hope you enjoyed today's sleep story. If you did, please like and subscribe to Dreamland Sleep Stories for more soothing stories. Thanks, and have a great night.